Today's flipped notes are on archaeology. So what you'll do is you will follow along on the notes page that goes with these notes as we go through the video, and I'll sort of discuss the notes as we would in class, and you just jot them down and add any notations that you like. This particular set of notes begins with a video on archaeology.
Archaeology. Archaeology is the scientific study of past cultures and the way people lived long ago, based on the things that they left behind. Archaeologists are scientists who study ancient peoples, cultures, and societies. Archaeologists spend quite a bit of time unearthing and analyzing materials found underground at dig sites. By excavating the ground to find artifacts left behind by previous civilizations, archaeologists work with the physical remains of societies like pottery, tools, bones, weapons, and the remains of buildings. They study them, analyze them, and write reports. Digs are found all around the world. The work done by archaeologists can be tedious and time-consuming, and very rewarding when discovering new artifacts. Archaeology belongs to the larger science of anthropology, the study and analysis of human beings, their customs, cultures, and history. Now that you know more about archaeology, think about this.
Alright, so there we have the video for archaeology. Now as I shift over, we're going to do our notes on what exactly archaeology is and how it plays a role in our understanding of the early humans of the Paleo and Neolithic periods. So, as the video explained, archaeologists are the scientists who are going to look at past cultures by analyzing the things that humans leave behind. In this particular unit, and obviously through all of World History 1, archaeologists are dealing with very old artifacts, in which, especially with the oldest periods, the Paleolithic period, the Neolithic period, and the early river valley civilizations that we're going to discuss in the next unit, scientists have to use something called radiocarbon dating, which is where they measure the amount of carbon still left in a living remain. Anything that's living has had carbon in it, and based on the known rate of decay for those carbon amounts, they can give a date range to the materials. Not all archaeologists have to use radiocarbon dating. I took an archaeology class in college, and we were doing an excavation site that was from the 1800s, so we obviously didn't do any radiocarbon dating because we had things that were dated that you could find in the ground, and we had documentation of when the particular site had been used by the people in the area, so we didn't need that. But as you get further and further into time, it arises for bigger needs for the radiocarbon dating. There are there are four major sites you need to be aware of that are major archaeological sites. The first one is Stonehenge. I'll have some pictures and videos of these sites on the next slide. But Stonehenge is a monolithic group of formations of stone, and we're not really sure exactly what it was used for. There's a lot of theories as to what it was used for, and there's another video in these notes that's going to explain some of the theories behind it. But it was begun in the Neolithic period, so it was begun by the groups of people who we know that they were having settlements, and they had oral language, and they also had pottery and weaving and that sort of thing. And it takes thousands of years, I guess, to be completed, and so it actually is moved into the Bronze period when people are using bronze for tools, that it's actually completed and in use, and it's in England. Aleppo and Jericho are two cities that are modern day cities. Jericho is the oldest inhabited city on the planet. And we use archaeology to study in those areas, and we can get information for all of the thousands of years to tens of thousands of years of history that are in those particular sites in the Middle East. Cataluyuk is another famous site. It was a Neolithic settlement, so it's a new Stone Age city that wasn't then continuously used the way Jericho and Aleppo were, that is being excavated. It's in Anatolia. The Anatolian Peninsula is the peninsula Turkey is on today. It's also going to be known as Asia Minor. It's going to be a very crucial geographic location throughout history, and so the findings that we have at Cataluyuk actually are giving us information about not just what's there now, but how various different cultures have used this particular region of the world very differently. So this picture here is of Stonehenge, the ring of rocks in the center, and if you notice on your work, on your notes sheet, it asks you to draw a depiction of what Stonehenge looks like, because you need to know that by sight. Aleppo and Jericho are the two pictures here in the middle. This is much more of the city of Jericho spread out amongst the ancient ruins of biblical times, actually. So, whereas the center picture is a different kind of, more of an excavation site. And then there's another video that I'll link in for that one. Then Cataluyuk, there's a reading in your packet about Cataluyuk. It was a city that was actually designed without traditional doors. If I make this picture bigger, you can see that there's holes in the roof of each of these rectangles. So these rectangles are individual houses, and they put holes in their roofs, and that was the access point. So each house would have had a ladder inside, and it's going to give advantages for protection and that sort of thing that having a door would not have given you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to direct you to immediately under the link to this video. There's going to be a link to History Channel to give you a story about what Stonehenge was, and then there's also going to be the link to the video on the trade that is going to begin to flourish in sites like Aleppo and Jericho. So you need to make sure that you watch those so you have an idea of the backgrounds behind these different sites. And as always, if you have any questions, please shoot me an email, send me a remind text, or just ask me in class. Thanks.